Hey, Mike, what do Kelly Slater and PT have in common?
I don't know. They're both world champs?
Nope, they both own Endless Summer box set.
Oh my God, rad. You guys, you can get it too. The link's in the show notes.
Hundred foot out joke food. 100 racks on a surf dude. Slippery. Big guns like Mark Food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. 100 foot out.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Quivercast, where we chat with surfers from all around the world, from all walks of life, and we get their story. Find us at www.thequivercast.com. I am Mike, your host. Let's get into the show. All right, everyone. This is Mike here with the Quivercast. Stoked. We have Timmy Reyes here today from Southern California and Huntington. Are you still in Huntington?
Yeah, I'm originally from Huntington Beach, and I'm living down here in San Diego. So,
are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
North County or South, or where are you at?
South County.
Okay. How are the waves?
This winter we had some pretty fun waves, and I don't think it was really funny. We've definitely had like our chance of waves here and there, but I read in the paper today that we haven't had sun in a full day since February.
Wow.
I feel like we're in like Seattle, Washington.
Yeah. How are the winds in the morning?
Between basically here and Oceanside, I've been surfing and kind of finding bits and pieces throughout the week, or surf a couple times a week and try to find something to ride. But for the most part, just kind of, I don't know, I guess we're in June gloom and a little mixture of swell. So it's been kind of just find whatever you can.
Okay. Why did you move to San Diego? Like, why'd you leave Huntington?
A good change in pace. Huntington's been kind of just really crowded and just a bit too busy. And also, I live with my girlfriend now, and for the last year and a half, so it's been really, really awesome.
Okay, cool. Waves wise, are they the same? Or you have a little more reefs and stuff in San Diego?
Yeah, having a lot more fun.
Okay. And the wind, which one has better wind?
Definitely down here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You just can kind of find your bits and pieces kind of everywhere. And, you have the beach breaks in the morning, which are great. And then some of the reefs, and kind of not very far away from a lot of fun waves, like Blacks is down the beach, and it's kind of pretty rad. And yeah.
So growing up, when did you get into surfing?
Well, my dad, we live far away from any waves. We actually, I was born in West Covina, lived in, I think, Corona, Fontana, San Bernardino.
Inlander.
I lived out there until I was like 8 or 9 years old.
Oh, okay.
And then we moved to Huntington Beach, off of Newland, right there by the power plant, and that was home spot there in River Jetties, the pier in the afternoons. And my dad, though, I guess like the question is like, when did I get into surfing? It was pretty much like at birth, kind of like, because my dad surfed, and we would always go to the beach really at like a young age over the weekends when my dad had the time off, and my mom loved it. So it was just, we were always down there, and I never really understood it because it was always like cold, you're like, oh, it's freezing. But because wetsuits don't fit you very good as a kid. Right. So it's not very welcoming and stuff. So I really got into it more as we were going to like different spots. My dad liked traveling to Baja, and we were going there since we were like, infants. So as soon as I learned how to kind of like, whoa, what is all this? Like, why are we doing this? I'm like, this is fun, and then I guess getting into like the boogie board at like age 4 and standing up on it, and then eventually stealing my dad's board when he put it down and go stand up on a couple white waters. I was like, oh, I'm just like that, like I'm doing what they're doing. But yeah, it was kind of around, I would say like 9, 10. I really kind of got into it a lot and made big jumps forward, especially when since you grow and you can kind of fit into some wetsuits and stuff.
How far back from the beach were you on Newland?
Um,
Bike riding distance, or did you have to get dropped off?
no, we live right there close to the beach.
Okay.
Yeah, near right there at the trailer park right there.
Okay.
And so it was really cool growing up and, getting maybe an early surf with some friends or some of my dad's friends that if he wasn't there. So it was constantly like going across the street until we were able to go and like alone sort of thing. Like, cause
Okay.
crossing the PCH is kind of always scary. And
Yeah, gnarly.
yeah, it's gnarly there. But yeah, it was just right there pretty much like learned how to do everything.
Yeah, and that side of town, it's not as crowded as the pier, so it's kind of wide
No,
open.
no, not as crowded as the pier. Pretty much from like just south of the pier to like river jetties. It's
Wide
kind of
open.
like open space.
Yeah.
Magnolia is a known spot. Brookhurst is, but that's probably just because it's like an open gate right there in the park.
Yeah. How is it there when the Santa Anas are blowing? Pretty good, huh?
Yeah, I think the whole stretch is actually like you can kind of just go out anywhere, go for a little walk, and as it changes, you kind of keep walking around. But for the most part, you can kind of catch some empty waves out front there when the offshores blow.
So do you think that helped in your surfing, like kind of being by yourself a little bit?
Yeah, well, it was really cool. We had like a small community of younger kids that surfed a lot. There was a lot of actually pretty good surfers in and around the area. I made friends with like some kids that were like way better than me at surfing, like at a young age, and they were already sponsored. I was such a kook, but I'm not much different now. But yeah, but it was really cool. So like there was a lot of kids that were better than me at surfing, I guess, because also I grew up like riding motorcycles and playing baseball and like BMX. That was like kind of my thing. And then getting to the beach and learning how to surf, that was like a whole new thing. Like I said, I was like such a kook, but my friends were really good surfers. So I was able to learn from them and at a young age, like I said, way better and made me want to get better at surfing. And it was really cool.
So they pushed you basically.
Yeah.
Motivated you to get better.
We all lived in a very close kind of community or just close from each other. And some of my best friends too, like as I got a little bit older into like junior high and high school, really pushed me because I just became friends with a lot of people from Newport and Huntington Pier. And yeah, kind of quickly escalated like probably when I was like around 12 years old. It just became a lot like, I was like, this is what I want to do.
Okay. So all the baseball, the motocross, all that, did that go in the back seat? Like, you
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I went for a while with baseball just because it was super fun and it was super rad. I held like some sort of record for a long time actually. And,
really?
I was always leadoff batter and,
okay.
and I had like the most whatever hits for amount of times it was. I didn't really remember. But,
that's cool.
But I was a grommet. It was super fun.
Yeah.
It was something I really wanted to do, but I was like, man, surfing became a thing and was exercising harder so that I can pursue the sport of surfing. And it was just really cool.
So at what point did you start doing contests? And when did you realize you were going to be good?
I think around maybe like 12 or 13 years old.
Okay.
I think somewhere like those 2 years. Again, I wasn't as good as my friends and I was a little bit like scared to kind of compete. And as kind of my age, I got better, but then I started also traveling a little bit when I was 12. So I got a lot better around 12, 13 and started going to Hawaii and learning like what it's like to be over there. And that was pretty crazy. Some of my first experiences was staying, like at the Pipe House when I was a little kid and meeting Ken Bradshaw and staying with Ken Bradshaw in Hawaii. And like, I mean, we did all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, we surfed like huge closing out sunset, Waimea, like at like, very, very very young age. I mean, I guess if I was now and I showed my clips or whatever, if I had them,
Yeah.
I'd have like 1 million followers because no one was doing it. There was only myself and Mark Healey and Jamie O'Brien. Only, I mean, couple visitor kids, but for the most part, there was maybe 3 to 6 kids in the water that were out there that were that young.
What did the guys say? The older guys, were they like pushing you, or were they like get out of the way?
It was a lot different then. I mean, they kind of a lot of the locals and the really good surfers that surf pipe and the places, they're like, "Go Grom, go!"
Yeah.
Like, you know, give you the benefit of the doubt, and then sometimes you do something stupid in the water because you get scared. But for the most part, you know, if you're giving an opportunity like that, like it was like, man, some of the best ways of my life is when I was a kid because you didn't have to fight for it; they just wanted you to go on it. So that was like
stoked for you.
Such a great experience.
And you don't think the Groms today have it like that?
I mean, some of the Groms have it, obviously, like the best of the best. It's just the water is completely different than it used to be. That's for sure.
Do you still go to Hawaii in the winters now?
I've missed the last couple winters. I'm friends with a lot of people over there, and I would love to go, but I don't really miss it too much. I think I just been kind of doing my own thing, and it's just been giving me a sense of joy and a little bit of relief that I don't have to go over there.
Okay.
I love the waves, but the crowds are kind of not really my thing.
So you talk about you're doing your own thing. What is your own thing?
I mean, for the last, like, I don't even know how many years now since I stopped doing the tour, I basically pursued just searching different waves and riding different equipment, and really, I mean, I just been super lucky. I mean, after the tour stuff, it was like, man, like I got to see some of the best waves in the world with no one out, and that's kind of always been my passion, is to surf like, you know, big scary waves or really perfect nice waves. And I've been leaning more to the more perfect waves as of the last few years, because it's just, I mean, who doesn't love a perfect wave?
Of course.
And we've been filming a lot over the years, and just kind of, I can't keep it held back on my Instagram and stuff like that, just because I almost don't want anyone to find me, sort of thing.
Okay.
but I'm gonna start putting up a YouTube channel here shortly, and
cool.
Kind of getting something else going to maybe tell more story about what it is that I do, because I guess I even get a little bit sidetracked or lost sometimes.
Are you like taking your truck and going camping and just finding waves? Like, or are you going to Mexico, or you don't want to say?
I literally front the whole West Coast.
Okay.
Like that's where I think, I mean, honestly, like I've seen amazing waves as far north as you could drive to, as far south as you could drive. And I've been able to meet a lot of great people and locals, and I can't even believe how many friends I have everywhere. And I get text messages all the time. It's like, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, here we go. You know, sometimes it requires like big wave equipment. Other times it's just like, you know, it's just going to be perfect waves, and you just bring a couple boards.
You go to Alaska all the way down, right?
Yeah.
So how's Alaska? I mean, it's wide open. You're not going to get a lot of people for that, have that desire. They might want that perfect wave, but do they really want that cold water and the element?
Yeah, I mean, like basically all like of the you know, Pacific Northwest is just like it's cold water, and it's, you know, and you could have crap weather for a couple of weeks, so you're kind of limited to like really only a handful of days of surfing in a month's time. So, you know, you have to pay your dues on being there. And I spent, you know, probably a 10 year search up there, like putting things together and making stuff happen. But man, it's a lot of downtime, but there's a lot of cool things to do too.
Oh, of course. I mean, hiking or, you know, whatever.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of like hiking and fishing and going exploring around, and you know, that doesn't even, sometimes if you know it's gonna be bad, you're like, oh, I'll just get in my snowboard and go for a hike somewhere and go ride your own runs.
So have you ever been in like a total sketchy situation, like in the Northwest or Alaska, where it's like, oh shit, what I get myself into?
Definitely, plenty of time. Stranded on islands, road closures due to like hurricane like winds,
No.
no food, saw, or using a saw to cut you a road, all kinds of stuff. Like,
No way.
yeah, it really sometimes put ourselves pretty far out there. And yeah, same as like Baja too. You can go down the Baja and kind of get a little bit lost and find yourself in a quick mud pit with your car. So that's always fun.
And like the locals bail you out, or there isn't even any locals around? Like, are you literally by yourself?
Yeah, you got to figure it out.
Oh shit. Okay. What about in the water?
What's that?
Have you had a situation sketchy in the water?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like some years ago, I went during kind of like a random time, and yeah, I mean, I've seen sharks like as big as, I don't know. I thought there was like a killer whale fin,
Okay.
but it ended up being like a full blown like biggest shark I've ever seen, and
Wow.
I've been playing cat and mouse with seals and sharks, and yeah, like definitely have had very scary moments with that stuff in the water.
Okay. And some of these places you're showing up at, are there locations where there's like no surfers around in the area at all, and people trip out on you?
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes it just depends where,
Yeah. No
but
names.
but yeah, for sure, like definitely you could go there and you won't see anyone. Sometimes you might go some places and you see people, and that's kind of nice, sharing waves with some locals. And yeah, it's the same. Like, there's always places where the waves get good, just like, all of our peninsula down here. I mean, you could go anytime and end up scoring something really amazing by yourself for, handful of days, and then a group of 10 people show up. So it is what it is.
And all this is documented? Do you bring like a filmer with you, or?
I mean, a lot of it is. I have, yeah, like I said, years of stuff on hard drives
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and just like really just getting to the time to put it together, and also where I feel like I'm comfortable with letting it out. So
Right.
that's one thing.
Okay. Well, if you you don't have to say the location though.
No,
Yeah. I mean, there's
surfers are clever though. Surfers are very clever. We know a lot about landscape, the way waves look, water color, kelp or not kelp, or
yeah, that's true.
we're pretty clever. We know where things are, and based on wetsuit, whether you're chunky or you're in a
Of course.
4.3 or plus, like you just kind of know. But yeah, it's really amazing footage in there.
At a certain point during your young years, you were doing contests, and then you decided, I'm going to take a go at be a pro.
Yeah.
So,
I started doing really well right around like 16, 17 years old. And then I kind of signed up to some pro juniors and traveled to some pro juniors to like Europe and Hawaii, and I just felt really comfortable. I was with Quicksilver at the beginning. Well, my first sponsor was Caton and
Okay.
Dean Cleary surfboards from the green room, and then quickly Quicksilver scooped me up. Not even, I think, even 2 years later, O'Neill picked me up in like my late 17s. Around that point is really when I started feeling really great. Doing the pro juniors and competing with the best guys in the U.S. Open, and doing good in a couple pro-ams here and there. And I was like, yep, it's pretty much on. And got out of high school at Edison in Huntington Beach, and I was like, you know what? I need to go and get like a seed. So I kind of got my seed in the first year. I did pretty okay.
Yeah.
Made a bunch of lots of heats, and I kind of was able to kind of get myself a seed for the following year. And I kind of did that for about 2 or 3 years, but I was really just trying to get better at surfing. I was traveling different waves and surfing around a lot of really good guys, like even going to like some of the championship tour events to go watch, and just kind of more hanging around and surfing in and around a lot of good surfers. And then like my 4th year, I went for the full year and actually really qualified my very first full year.
Wow.
It just took me 4 years to do it because I need to get better at surfing. If I make it to this tour, I'm going to get smoked. Like, that's kind of what I felt like. I just,
Okay.
at some point, everyone surfs that good. You give one wave away, you pretty much lost the heat. Like it's just the way it goes. Pretty much, I was just trying to get better at my craft. It took me a while, and I got better as I was surfing, of course. But it was just, that was really important to me to be able to charge, to be comfortable in heavy conditions, and then my weakness was always like kind of small mushy waves. So I had to really try to get good at that to try to qualify, really.
So the waves at home are kind of smaller and mushy. I mean, Huntington gets waves for sure, but
Yeah, we get wave, but I generally would surf a lot at like, say, river jetties or somewhere out front of my house, or like it was always a bit steeper than, say, Huntington Pier. So I always liked the steeper waves. But yeah, it was super funny. I'd go to like Huntington Pier and I would like pearl my board or just like fall over, or just like so. It was like kind of like a glitch in my surfing, and I just knew I had to get better at surfing waves like that because, I mean, everyone knows that going like qualifying series, the waves are pretty much garbage.
Were you stoked when you made it, or was it pressure? Like, how did you feel? Was it fun?
I had like really like one of the funnest years ever in my life competing, because I think I made like 5 or 6 finals. I won like 4 events. It was pretty an incredible journey throughout the year. And, back when we had more of a North American tour, I just made like 3 finals, and it almost like put me up there to where it was like, man, this is kind of easy.
Really?
In the ratings. And I was like, ended up winning the North American thing, and went to Europe feeling good, and made a final over there and got second. And I was like, I really didn't have to compete the rest of the year, and I was just going to make it. That's the top 16.
Wow.
I think I was 4th or something. So I just went to one last one before Hawaii, and I got 3rd in Brazil, and took my trophy home and got rid of all my surfboards and gave them away to all the people and whatever who was there.
That's cool.
I'm going home right now. I'm ready for Hawaii, and just like went straight to Hawaii to kind of finish out the year. But yeah, that was a pretty monumental year for me. And my first year, I didn't do too well on the tour, but I got a equal 3rd at J Bay, which was very special. I surfed really, really well that event. I think I lost to Kelly in the semis, but if I was to lose to anyone, I was happy to lose to him. I learned a lot through the first season because I was just getting used to traveling with people who I looked up to, and that was like probably the hardest thing, because I was like trying to stay up on the party train, and then like also too, I just was nervous to compete all the time, and then I quickly realized that the party train really wasn't what I was there for. I guess you just kind of get sucked into it, and then I guess just being around high profile people, it was kind of like nerve wracking. But then I was ready for my second year. When the first season was over, I was like, I'm just looking forward to the second season, so then I can just really put myself together. Did a lot better, really well. I concentrated more on the CTs, because the first season everyone says like, oh man, it's going to be the hardest, like it's a growing pain sort of thing with priority, and learning how to surf all the good waves in a contest is completely different than just surfing good waves.
Yep.
You have to learn to let waves go, which was very hard for me, because I was like, oh, I want to surf this one. Competing, I said, like, well, I mean, maybe the best surfers of our generation, with like Kelly and Andy and Joe Parkinson and Mick Fanning, and the list, Taylor Knox, like I don't know, Aki. I surfed with some of the most amazing classic surfers of maybe ever. Like,
of course.
3rd and 4th year were great. Again, like we got like, man, I don't even know how many 10s I had in my third year, and
wow,
competing, at Cloud Break, and I don't know, just like it was just like a total dream. And it takes it's a lot of mental game, and it kind of beats you up too a little bit when you lose. When you make heats, you feel almost too excited, and you're like, oh man, like it's just like you're making your dream come true every time you make it through heats. And I guess I probably left some stuff on my plate out there, but as the years went, I was doing very well. Was it my 5th season on tour?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I mean, I think I was top 5 in the world, and then I had a major injury, and that one really kind of stopped me, and I had to like sit out the rest of the year. You know, like I went from like 4th in the world to like 11th or something when
Which
I
is
final.
still good. It's great.
Yeah, which is still really good.
Yeah.
But I didn't even get to compete the rest of the year, and that was kind of sad. And at that moment, I was like, okay, well, you know, it took me this long to get here. I got a year off, made it back into the CT with the wild card, and I actually finished in the top 16 that year, that following year. So I was like, man, that was a great year. I came back to Pipeline and got a couple 10s. I felt really good, and going into next season, I was pretty good. I just didn't know if I was quite ready again after sitting 1 year out of the water, literally like 10 months, and then going full competition mode. It was pretty hard, but I did it. And then I don't know, something happened the following season. I just like, I guess I surfed too many good waves over the I guess my year off sabbatical was kind of like more, I was just like, what is my reason? And just like, what am I doing? Am I ever going to win a world title? Or like, am I just one of the people there? I kind of like didn't really know. And we had like a terrible season of waves. It was like so bad. We had no cloud break. Tahiti was like head high. J Bay was barely breaking. So like all my waves that I would do good at, just like there was just nothing like like it couldn't scare the people. It couldn't, like, it was just all kind of luck if you got a wave or not. And then it kind of just made me kind of back out of competing, just because I was like so in my head about it. You know, when I did, I was just like, no, I didn't even show up to the last couple events, and just like pipe. I surfed pipe. And I think I just needed to make a few heats, but I lost to Bruce Irons, and I had like a 9.8 and like a 9 or something, and I lost. So I had a great exit out, but it was like, I don't know if this is what I want to do. And then so I took a few seasons off and really just was kind of running around, just riding waves. I lost sponsorships, but you know, I got like the cover of a magazine, literally like, I don't know, like the first year out of not competing. On a very special day. And I was like, man, this is probably what I really want to do. It's like film and shoot photos and just like go surf these crazy waves. And there's so much more that I want to do in surfing, not just chase the carnival around.
Any of your competitors or former competitors, did they talk to you and be like, are you crazy leaving this? Or like peer pressure, I guess?
More like sponsors and family. And, you know, close friends. Everyone knows as like a professional surfer, that it's very difficult. I mean, you have to be a well-maintained machine, and you have to take your losses as much as your wins. And sometimes the losses really got hold of me, you know, like if it's been like a bit dry and I'm like, like it just like kind of beats you up pretty bad. Yeah. I don't know. Like I do miss it in ways, but then other ways I don't really miss it.
How was the pressure like instantly gone? Not on tour anymore, or was there a different kind of pressure?
I mean, obviously, it was. Then the next pressure was like riding waves and getting content for sponsors and doing that sort of thing. So that was like the next big pressure. But I always loved chasing swell, and it was it was a lot easier, and my mental game was a lot better.
But O'Neill's always been there for you.
This is my 23rd year with O'Neill. And we're still in cahoots together.
Well, you're kind of like the perfect guy for O'Neill, actually.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just been, you know, obviously, through the last years of COVID and stuff like that, surfing's kind of for the pro surfers been a little bit more difficult, but still making it happen. And yeah, it's been really fun.
Yeah. When you're going camping, are you just camping out of the back of your truck?
For the most part, but again, I have a lot of friends.
So you have places to stay.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends through most parts of our West Coast, and I just for the most part just staying with friends or even different family, because I have family all the way up to pretty much Washington. So,
Okay, cool.
um, so I kind of just bits and pieces of everywhere, and kind of like following whatever it is that I don't know, whatever comes up that I want to surf for the time being. But for the last couple of years, it's been kind of cruising and taking it home a little bit, which has been really nice.
Yeah. How do you pick if you want warm water or if you're willing to go and like kind of freeze a little bit?
I guess it depends on my what I've been doing lately.
Okay.
If I feel like if I haven't been challenged enough or anything like that. So it's like I love riding giant waves, but I don't really do it often because I'm pretty like picky on when it comes to conditions, just as like even a daily surf. So good conditions really don't come a lot with big swell. So it's just like, if I want that, I'll go hunt that, and then I'm good for my year for the most part.
Gotcha.
But like for everything, I mean, we just did a trip to the Maldives, my girl and I, we
So rad.
and that was like super amazing because the waves were so like beautiful, the water's so warm, and sometimes you just search for something like that.
Yeah, the content format has changed over the years of being the cover of Surfer magazine to now. You have to do what? There's no magazines or very little magazines around anymore. They don't mean as much. So how's that game? Is it a game? Do you have to post on Instagram or Facebook or whatever you're using? I know you do Instagram.
I pretty much am like only Instagram for the most part.
Yeah.
But I don't even really use it that much. Yeah, I'm pretty quiet on it. But I guess if something does happen in front of a lot of people, then I'll post it and stuff. But I'm pretty quiet on there for the most part. I just kind of like trying to think of what I really want to do with my surfing stuff, and I believe that a lot of it is good enough to throw out there. But then I get all shy, and people are also pretty mean on social media, so I really kind of just kind of fall out of it a little bit after some time here and there.
So have you had an experience of someone being mean like on Instagram or something? Like,
oh yeah, so many times.
Seriously?
I mean, all of us do, it's just a pretty standard issue. I feel, people just get weird about where they're from or whatever.
Gotcha.
And then also too, like, I don't know, I kind of laugh about it more than anything, just because it's like, okay, whatever. but even if it's like hatred towards me, and I just like kind of laugh and just throw like a shaka and just like have a good day.
yeah. What else are you gonna do? That's crazy. Exactly. But I hope you do your YouTube, because that sounds like phenomenal. Like to get good surfing and see some of the like locations you don't see every day.
Yeah,
that's what always stokes me on watching surfing.
For sure.
And checking the forecast, how do you do it? You go Surfline, or do you have your own like buoys? The buoys to check, or?
Yeah, I guess it just depends on where. But I like on a day like today here in Southern California, we're like always like kind of like the night before, kind of like look out there, check on the buoys, see how windy they are, if swell comes, just the local buoys or even the far out ones to see if there's any coming, and that kind of like changes where I like to go. I mean, Surfline's pretty cool for the fact that you can kind of check now, like what's going on with like winds and stuff like that. I'm pretty turned on to like the windy TV and buoy weather as well.
Okay.
Storm surf is great too. Like, so you can see like the models for like what period swell is kind of coming in, kind of like the direction. Yeah. It's kind of like, oh, that could be really good somewhere, like. But yeah, I've always been like a super nerd on all the websites. Just like trying to figure out more like if it's going to be windy or not. Like that's kind of like the key for me. Hey, if it's going to be windy, I'm kind of like not really into it. Like, there's going to be waves, but it's not going to be whatever. I guess being a pro surfer, you can kind of like you can miss one swell and then like go another one in a few weeks later or something.
When you're camping, how much have you invested in like camping gear and stuff? Like, are you on top of that stuff, or are you a pretty basic guy?
Pretty basic. Just like I drive an old truck, and I've actually accumulated a new sponsor, Go Fast Campers.
Oh, cool. So that's perfect for you.
Yeah, and that's pretty awesome to kind of get anywhere and pull off on the side of the road, go to sleep, or, when you get there, you can kind of just cruise. And that's good for our locals and, also Baja and Northern California and so forth up there. So it's really nice to have that. And but yeah, just got like an old rig with go fast and kind of just some simple things and make it happen.
Right on. It's like a home on wheels.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
Right on. Well, Timmy, thank you so much for coming on the Quivercast, dude. I'm stoked. It was super fun chatting with you.
Heck yeah.
All right, everybody. This is Mike and Timmy Reyes, and we're out of here. Later.
100 foot out, Joe food. 100 racks on a surf, dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. 100 foot out, Joe food. 100 racks on a surf, dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. You know we don't fuck with no kooks. Your boo on my didgeridoo. They calling me dude, I'm stacking the loot. I'm ripping your chick in the coop. She grabbing a hold of my leggy. They jelly, they Gucci my weddy. The friends of Giuseppe, the chain is so heavy, she think that I'm charging the Eddie. 100 foot out, choke poo. 100 racks on a surf, dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. 100 foot out, choke poo. 100 racks on a surf, dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. Surf trap, I'm stacking that money. Cash. Four shots, a red Ferrari. He starts to calling me Dundee. Diamonds a surfing McFlurry. She want me to teach her to surf. Splash. I'm pulling up, ripping the verse. I'm leaving these kooks in the hearse. They get moved 100 foot on their head, they get work. 100 foot out, choke poo. 100 racks on a surf, dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. 100 foot out, choke poo. 100 racks on a surf, dude. Slippery, big guns like Mark food. Trap jumping like a kangaroo. You know we don't fuck with no kooks. You know we don't fuck with no kooks. They calling me dude, I'm stacking the loot. I'm ripping your chick in the coop. You know we don't fuck with no kooks. You know we don't fuck with no kooks. They calling me dude, I'm stacking the loot. I'm ripping your chick in the coop.
Hey, you guys, Endless Summer box set. This thing is legit. It's authentic, numbered certificate in it. It has a 5-frame film strip from the original print. You will literally own a piece of history. It has a specially minted bronze medallion. Dude, that thing's sick. Okay, there's so much more here. Go to the show notes. There's a link on there. Go check this piece of history out. This thing's rad. Seriously. Smithsonian American History Museum has it. It took 4 years of research with 3.5 in production, all hand assembled. This thing's rad. So much to this awesome box set. Remastered DVD, sharper images than the original film, but dude, this thing's so sick. Link in the show notes.